I think the mistake they made, and I've said on my podcast, she should have never become the CEO and chairman overnight. Because now when people have questions, you got to answer them, right? You're not just a grieving widow, but you very quickly decided that you were equipped to be Charlie. Well, guess what? That's going to be a trial by fire. Charlie had to go through it. It's painful. And so people are feeling like, hey, it's not fair to ask her any questions because her husband just died.
You won't believe how fast this situation just escalated. What started as a few accusations has now turned into a full-blown controversy involving shocking claims, viral clips, and questions that just won't go away. Candace Owens is speaking out, receipts are spreading online, and people everywhere are trying to piece together what's really going on. From alleged merch money to resurfaced footage and growing pressure from people close to the situation, this story keeps getting deeper by the minute.
Turning Point USA, since Charlie was killed, just so you guys know, this is a fact, has made more than $100 million. That is separate from the $40 million they made at Mar-a-Lago the other night. So since Charlie has died, that organization has taken in $140 million. But gosh darn you people that are making hundreds of dollars every day on YouTube.
And just when it seems like it can't get any more intense, another detail comes out and changes everything. So what's actually true here? And what's being questioned? Let's break it all down. Candace Owens isn't just tossing light jabs at Erika anymore. She's coming in way harder now. The situation just took a sharp turn, and the accusations are getting serious in a way people didn't expect. Candace is now claiming that Erika pulled a fast one on her own TPUSA community, pointing to what she calls a fake merch setup that allegedly raked in huge money, millions. And this time, Candace isn't brushing it off like drama for attention. She's saying she's got proof ready, real receipts, even an audio recording that's now spreading fast online.
I lived out here. I was here for 5 years. I never dated here because I saw vicariously through my roommate how terrible it was. Somehow getting drinks was the replacement of having coffee and breakfast. I personally would rather have coffee or brunch with someone than go. I don't drink. I find it unproductive.
According to Candace, that recording catches Erika laughing it up with her team, talking about how crazy well the merch was selling. People are locked in on this because of one shocking detail: the timing of when that conversation supposedly happened. That part has everyone raising eyebrows and asking questions fast. Candace is now saying that recording came from a private staff meeting held just days after Charlie passed away, and that detail instantly changed how people hear that clip. Timing like that hits different, and a lot of people watching this unfold are calling it straight up shocking. It's not just what was said, it's when it was said that has everyone talking and questioning everything. Now the situation gets even more intense. Candace isn't pushing this story on her own anymore. Reports say she's working alongside Charlie Kirk's sister, and that shift changes the whole energy around this.
The podcaster Candace Owens, okay? At one time, a friend of Charlie's, at one time, an employee of Turning Point. She has been one of the main peddlers of these conspiracies, and she is making a huge amount of money on it. She is building her business off of these lies. What do you want to say to her and the other people that are putting these lies out into the world right now?
Stop. That's it. That's all I have to say. Stop.
When family gets involved, it stops feeling like basic online drama and starts feeling a lot more serious and personal. That's why people keep saying the call is coming from inside the house. And that idea alone has sent this whole controversy into overdrive. And to keep it real, the audio on its own doesn't clearly prove anything illegal or deceptive. If you listen to that audio with no context, it honestly just sounds like a boss hyping up her team, celebrating big sales, and showing love for the work they put in. On the surface, that's normal workplace energy, nothing out of the ordinary at all. But the real tension kicks in when people start placing that clip into the bigger picture of what was going on at that exact time and everything that came after.
And then you have, is it 100 million? I think we're at like over 200,000 for merch sales. Don't quote me on that because I think it just keeps like bumping up like crazy. But
once you bring in Charli's passing, the timing of the merch rollout, and the questions about where that money was actually going, the whole vibe of that clip shifts fast. It's not just about the words anymore. It becomes about the timing, the circumstances, and what people believe might have been happening behind closed doors. That's why the conversation online hasn't slowed down for a second. People keep digging, questioning, and debating non-stop. Candace is pushing this as more than just bad judgment. She's framing it like a pattern that needs real attention. Whether people agree with her or not, the story keeps stacking new layers, and that's exactly why so many are glued to it, waiting to see what drops next.
I don't even know where to begin. The fact that we were able to pull off an event of the century, like it's just insane.
And if that audio already had people feeling uneasy, things might only get more intense from here. That video pushed everything to a whole new level. In the footage, Erika is smiling big, almost glowing, and she keeps stressing just how strong those merch sales were. That energy didn't sit right with a lot of viewers, and the second the clip hit the internet, it took off fast and didn't slow down. TikTok went wild with it. Stitches everywhere, people replaying every second, breaking it down frame by frame, and asking why the focus stayed locked on sales during such a sensitive time. One major thing people kept pointing out:
Erika Kirk calling Charlie Kirk's funeral the event of the century in the new leaked audio that Candace Owens posted is crazy.
Was the timing. Critics started questioning why the energy seemed centered on business wins instead of stepping back and focusing on family matters during a period of serious loss. That contrast is exactly what made the video feel unsettling for so many watching. Once the internet grabs onto a moment like that, it's almost impossible to pull it back or reshape the narrative. People keep analyzing, sharing, and forming opinions nonstop. And through all of this, the tension around the situation just keeps building. When Erika's remaining supporters stepped in, they went hard, trying to defend her. They pushed back on the criticism, called it unfair, and kept saying the clip was taken out of context. They tried to flip the narrative and calm things down, but not everyone was buying it. Even with all that defense, there was one uncomfortable detail they couldn't fully explain away. More and more people started agreeing with Candace's claim that Erika seemed heavily driven by money, and that idea spread fast across Twitter. Posts started stacking up, with hundreds of people calling out what they saw as excitement over financial gain during a very serious moment. Some people felt the tone just didn't match the situation, even if they weren't saying it too loudly.
Picture of her kids holding her husband's book. Then a video comes out and she's giggling 2 weeks after he passed, and she's talking about merchandise sales. I mean, she could have done the Jackie Kennedy.
And the wild part is, nobody even had to spell it out. Older clips, past statements, and timelines started resurfacing on their own, adding more layers to the conversation and keeping the spotlight locked on this situation. Those receipts started painting a picture that a lot of people felt showed a clear pattern, and one that Erika didn't really try to hide. As more pieces came together, the narrative got stronger, and people began connecting dots in a way that kept the conversation heating up. Candace Owens, on her side, didn't seem surprised at all. She's been saying for a long time that Erika was using her loyal TPUSA fan base as a revenue stream. And in her view, this whole situation just confirmed what she already believed. Candace even said she saw this coming from a mile away and that it only took a few months for the public to finally catch on. One of the earliest red flags Candace pointed to was how quickly Erika stepped into Charlie's role as Turning Point USA CEO after his passing. According to Candace, that move felt rushed and raised serious questions that couldn't be ignored. Critics argue that by stepping into that position so fast, it limited space for accountability and made it harder for people to openly question decisions. And this is where things start to feel even deeper.
Turning Point USA cult members are furious that Erika Kirk has been called a grifter, yet this audio seems to point to just that.
Candace has claimed she was one of the first to notice what she describes as Erika turning a moment of grief into a business move. And that claim has only added more intensity to an already explosive situation. What made the timing of that audio and video feel so unsettling to people, even though the content itself didn't clearly prove anything wrong? From Candace's perspective, everything shifted fast. She claims Erika moved quickly into what critics are now calling a full-on grief tour, traveling from state to state, doing back-to-back interviews, and keeping the spotlight firmly on herself while centering the story around loss. If you were following Erika during that time, it was hard to miss. She stayed visible, stayed booked, and stayed talking nonstop. Then came the book release, heavily promoted as Charlie's final work. Supporters were encouraged to buy it not just as something to read, but as a way to feel closer to him, to honor his legacy, and to stay emotionally connected. That messaging hit hard with a lot of people, but Candace says even that wasn't the full picture. According to Candace, the merch machine never slowed down for a second. She claims that once she understood how the operation allegedly worked behind the scenes, she stopped holding back completely. She went public, went loud, and put Erika fully on blast, turning up the pressure in a major way. And it didn't end there.
Point USA, since Charlie was killed, just so you guys know this is a fact, has made more than $100 million. That is separate from the $40 million they made at Mar-a-Lago.
I think we're at like over 200,000 for merch sales. Don't quote me on that because I think it just keeps like bumping up like crazy.
Erika didn't stay quiet either. She fired back, going on air multiple times and warning Candace to stop calling her and TPUSA out, which only made the situation even more intense and impossible to ignore. This isn't over yet. Keep watching because there's a lot more still coming. Erika fired back hard, accusing Candace of spreading lies for profit and reportedly warning her to back off or face consequences. But instead of slowing things down, that warning seemed to push Candace even further. She doubled down, claiming that Erika had been trying to profit off Charlie's passing from day one, turning the situation into an even bigger public clash. That's when Candace started laying out what she described as a full breakdown of the merch situation. According to her, merch wasn't just a side hustle, it was the main focus. She claimed that during Erika's tours, there was a repeated emphasis on merchandise over messaging, which caught a lot of attention from critics watching closely. Candace also brought up financial figures that shocked a lot of people online. She alleged that TPUSA generated over $100 million from merch sales alone, a number that quickly raised eyebrows across the internet. And it didn't stop there. She also pointed to an additional $40 million reportedly brought in during the Black Tie Gala at Mar-a-Lago in December of last year, adding even more fuel to an already intense. According to those claims, the event wasn't just exclusive, it was seriously expensive. Reports circulating online said tickets allegedly reached up to $10,000 per plate, with nearly 1,000 attendees in the room. Once people started doing the math, The reaction came fast, and the backlash only grew stronger as more eyes locked onto those numbers. Candace framed all of this as proof that Erika's focus wasn't on healing, reflection, or stepping back, but on expansion. And once those figures started spreading online, the conversation quickly shifted from speculation to intense scrutiny almost overnight. That's when the pressure really started building, and people began asking tougher questions than before. But this is where things take an even darker turn. According to Candace, the timeline itself raises serious concerns. Reports claim that just one day after Charlie passed, TPUSA released a shirt on their website featuring a black illustration of him with his fist raised. It was paired with the words, "Here I am, Lord, send me Isaiah 6:8. That timing alone made a lot of people uncomfortable, and it didn't stop there. Within just 1 week of his passing, TPUSA reportedly rolled out 5 more shirts, each one presenting Charlie as a larger-than-life figure with different captions. For many watching, that rapid rollout added another layer to the controversy and kept the spotlight burning even brighter. These weren't low-key memorial items either. The shirts sold out fast, almost instantly, and that only made the reaction online even louder. People saw how quickly everything moved and started questioning what was really going on behind the scenes. And as if that wasn't enough, Erika also set up a GoFundMe shortly after, which brought in even more money from loyal TPUSA supporters. According to multiple reports circulating online, donations from that campaign alone reportedly passed $6 million. Once those numbers started spreading, the tone online shifted quickly from sympathy to suspicion. At that point, Candace kept coming back to one central question, and she repeated it again and again. If nothing questionable is happening, then where is all this money actually going? With merch selling out, donations pouring in, and events bringing in massive amounts, that question only got louder and harder to ignore as the controversy kept growing. Candace argued that transparency should be the bare minimum, but Erika didn't respond, even after the video of her celebrating merch sales went viral. There was no statement, no clarification, no warning, and no pushback at all. That silence hit loud for critics, especially since, as many pointed out, Erika has never been quiet when she feels attacked. Over the past few months, she's shown that when she wants to respond, she speaks up fast. So her decision to stay silent on the money side of things only made the speculation grow even louder. People started asking more questions, and the pressure kept building with no clear answers in sight. At the same time, a lot of people began noticing something else happening in the background. The goodwill Charlie had built over the years seemed to be fading quickly, and that shift only added more weight to an already intense and fast-moving controversy. Longtime supporters started questioning their loyalty, and confidence in TPUSA began slipping fast, especially as the alleged merch controversy kept growing. And just when it felt like things couldn't spiral any further, the situation escalated again. Charlie's sister reportedly stepped into the picture, and once family gets involved, everything shifts in a big way. That's when people realized this wasn't just online backlash anymore. It was turning into something much bigger and more serious. With all this money reportedly flowing in, many expected Erika might slow down, step back, and spend real time with her family while processing such a major loss. But critics say the pace never changed, and that contrast between grief and nonstop monetization is exactly what keeps making this story more intense by the day. According to insiders, Erika isn't slowing down at all. Sources claim she may have realized how easy it was to generate money from loyal TPUSA supporters, and that realization allegedly pushed her to keep everything running as long as possible. At this point, critics argue it's no longer just about frustration. It's raising deeper concerns that continue to fuel this already explosive situation. Critics are now calling it a slap in the face to everyone who knew and supported Charlie long before Erika was ever part of his life. That frustration has only grown louder, and this is exactly where Charlie's sister, Mary, steps into the picture in a major way. According to Mary, TPUSA, under Erika's leadership, has allegedly been hiding the true scale of how much money is coming in. And these claims didn't just appear out of nowhere. Reports say an independent investigator flagged serious concerns about the organization's financial transparency, which immediately raised eyebrows. That investigator allegedly found that multiple TPUSA tax filings and financial audit documents were completely missing. And here's the part that really set off alarms. The missing records reportedly disappeared just months before Charlie passed away. That timeline lines up closely with when Erika began taking on a much bigger role inside the company, which only made people question things even more. According to sources familiar with the situation, Charlie himself had already started feeling uneasy about the finances. He reportedly had concerns and quietly brought in a new team to run a deeper audit into where the money was going. That move suggested he was looking for clarity, structure, and real answers. But here's the tragic twist. Charlie never got the chance to see the results of that audit. Before any findings could be delivered or made public, he was gone, leaving behind even more unanswered questions that continue to fuel this growing controversy. His life was cut short, and once the new leadership stepped in, Mary claims that entire audit process was buried, ignored, and basically erased. According to sources, that was the moment everything clicked for Charlie's sister in a major way. From her perspective, this wasn't just mismanagement. It looked like something more deliberate, like an intentional cleanup. She reportedly believed the top priority of the new leadership wasn't transparency, but control. And that idea only made the situation feel even more serious. That alleged cover-up is what finally pushed Mary to speak out. In her view, the missing documents, the stalled audit, and the sudden silence all pointed in the same direction: that something just wasn't adding up. And once she decided to step forward, everything shifted fast. What started as a messy online situation suddenly turned explosive. Because when family members begin calling out financial inconsistencies, it stops sounding like internet chatter and starts feeling much more serious. At that point, it wasn't about gossip anymore. It became about missing money, missing records, unanswered questions, and a timeline that still doesn't seem to make sense. And once those dots started connecting, the pressure around Erika didn't just grow, it multiplied fast. But according to insiders, the breaking point came when Erika allegedly reenacted the tent where Charlie was shot, right in front of thousands of people. What pushed things over the edge was the claim that attendees were then charged money to step inside and take photos, turning a place tied to tragedy into what some described as a deeply unsettling spectacle. For Charlie's family, that moment reportedly crossed a line that couldn't be undone. Sources say his loved ones were left stunned, and to them, it felt like his death was being reduced to a prop. A backdrop turned into a money-making attraction. The pain wasn't just emotional, it hit on a personal level that made the situation even harder to process. They reportedly felt like Erika had made it clear that money was the priority, no matter how deeply it hurt the people who cared about Charlie long before any spotlight. And now Erika has gone quiet. Even as more questions keep surfacing and more receipts continue circulating online, that silence is being noticed in a big way. Because this time, it's not just critics speaking out, it's Charlie's own sister saying the numbers don't add up, and that claim alone is keeping this entire situation under intense focus. Once family members start pulling on threads like that, things don't stay buried for long. What used to be brushed off as internet chatter can quickly turn into a full unraveling, because family knows exactly where to look, what questions to ask, and which details were never meant to come to light. So now the real question isn't just whether Erika went too far, that's only part of it. The bigger question is whether everything people are only now starting to notice was actually happening out in the open the entire time. That idea alone has people looking back and rethinking everything they thought they understood. Because once the money trail is pushed into the spotlight, this story doesn't just stop at merch. It gets a whole lot bigger and a lot more serious. And now it's your turn to weigh in. What do you think about everything that's come out so far? And that's where things stand right now. And it's clear this story is far from over. With more questions still hanging in the air and new details continuing to surface, a lot of people are watching closely to see what happens next. One thing is certain, this situation has already gone way deeper than anyone expected. Now I want to hear from you. What's your take on everything that's come out so far? Do you think there's more to the story, or is this being blown out of proportion? Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to see it, and drop your thoughts in the comments below.